Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk Youth Ministry with Josh and Caleb. We are here to keep it honest about life, faith, and what it means to follow Jesus in a world that is constantly changing. I'm Josh, and I just want to say, wherever you're listening right now, I'm glad that you're here. Maybe you're on a lunch break, you're heading to school, laying in bed scrolling through TikTok, or you just trying to make sense of your life. That's all right. So you belong here. This space is for real people having real conversations.
Anyway, I'm Caleb. And today we're getting into something that's honestly, it's everywhere. And Josh just hit on it. It's in our pocket. It's in our hand. It's probably even open on another tab while you're watching this. It's called social media, right? We've got it everywhere. But we're not just going to talk about how much time we spend online and how much time we do this, or whether we should take a fast or a break from Instagram or Snapchat. We want to go deeper with this conversation, right, Josh? We want to talk about what social media is doing to us as people. Because the truth is, our phones aren't just tools. They are tools, but they're not just tools. Currently, today, they are shaping how we think, how we feel, and they're shaping our relationships with people. It's affecting the way that we have conversations. It's called Chat GPT.
Yep.
And it is a serious thing that we need to talk about.
For real. And this episode really started with a moment that I had not too long ago. I was having a rough week. I'm being completely honest. I was feeling kind of burned out spiritually. Honestly, I was just numb. I was scrolling without really thinking, just out of habit. And how often does that really just happen? Especially at nights. You're laying in bed, and you're just endlessly scrolling, sitting here looking, scrolling on TikTok. Next thing you know, I dropped my phone on my face, right? Happens all the time. But
it's fair.
I landed on this post. It was nothing flashy. It was just a verse and a quiet message about rest. And for some reason, it just hit me. Like God used that moment right there in the middle of all this noise, in the middle of all my social media, all my stuff that was going on just to get my attention.
And you know, Josh, here's the thing. All of us have had that moment, right? Where we are like doom scrolling, and then we have our like, oh wait moment.
Mm-hmm.
I call them the oh wait moments because we sit there and we've been scrolling for who knows how long, and then it's like, oh wait, what am I doing? And sometimes those oh wait moments happen because we've seen a post, because we've seen lyrics to a song on Facebook, because we've seen something that touches us, and it's like, oh, okay, and it speaks to my heart.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So let's be honest. It can go the other way too. Just because a post is encouraging, just because a post is uplifting in a moment, I can scroll one post down and it can be disheartening.
Mm-hmm.
It can be discouraging. It can be an attack. And it ends up drowning us. And it could be nonchalantly, like it could be minimalistically. It could be something like comparison, fake positivity, or just stuff you're like, really? Why did you have to post that? And it's just draining.
Yeah.
And that affects the way that we think.
Yeah. So today, English, Josh, it happens once an episode. That's the first one of the episode. We're going to unpack it all. We're going to unpack the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm just kidding. We're not unpacking the good, the bad, the ugly. We're unpacking all of it. The good, the bad, and the spiritually confusing world of social media. Which I guess, in a way, that is the good, the bad, the ugly. So, whether you're trying to figure out how to build a real relationship and a real faith online, or just wondering why your feed makes you feel empty, we're going to talk about it. We've got something really good for you today. So, I want to kick us off with this idea, all right? Social media. What?
I said, what you got?
Oh. So, I want to kick us off with this idea.
What
oh,
idea?
Okay.
Oh, sorry. That was my cue. Sorry.
All right. So, I want to kick us off with this idea.
What you got, Josh?
Social media is a double-edged sword. It can
right.
totally be a way that God reaches us. I mean, how many people first heard the gospel through a YouTube clip or some type of short or some type of clip that someone sent them on either Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or I mean, if you still have it, I don't know if it's still around, MySpace? I don't know. But the same platforms that uplift us can also lead us into some seriously unhealthy mindsets, especially when it comes to our spiritual life. I don't know about you. I'm going to go off on a tangent here, okay? TikTok for a second. TikTok has some pros and cons. My biggest con is when people think that the end of the world is tomorrow and they sit there and make all these videos saying, oh, it's the end of the world. We're all going to die tomorrow. You know, God's coming back tomorrow. It says in the Bible that nobody knows when he's coming back. He will come like a thief in the night. We don't know.
That's right.
So that's my little tangent for TikTok. And I hope people who are on TikTok, and I hope that if you're one of those, you listen to me. That frustrates
me. Well, see, Josh, one of the things that frustrates me is, and this is going to sound interesting, okay? But I want you to think about these online evangelists, and to a certain scenario, anytime you video anything religious, and you start to think, okay, like, I mean, I've gone into this with this podcast. We've got this video format and everything. It's like, okay, how do I get my lighting better? Okay, how do I get my audio better? How do I get all of this stuff better to make my video better and make or not my video, it's our video. But
yeah, like, get it right. It's Josh and Caleb.
Make our video better. And then we start realizing that that's not the point of the video, right? The video, the point of the video is not the perfect lighting or the perfect background or the perfect whatever. It's about reaching Jesus, allowing for video format to be an evangelistic tool, right? And so we get into this comparison game, and then perhaps we start thinking, okay, am I really a Christian if I don't post stuff on social media about my faith? Like when we wrestle with this stuff all the time, right? And there's almost like a guilt trip. Have you seen those things where it's like, tap in if you love Jesus?
Yeah.
And then it's like
or it's the stay here for 15 seconds if you love God.
Right. And it's like, if I don't, do I not love God?
Exactly.
You know, there's this moral thing that is so conflicting, and it's this constant pressure to look holy.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if it's actually trying to be in a relationship with God. Does that make sense?
You know, and it's sneaky as well. Very sneaky. Because the content may look like it's a Christianity content, but it really feels like it's created, the way it's created, it's not always Christ-like. It may look like it. It may look like the picture looks great, but it's not always Christ-like. You end up performing for an audience instead of praying in secret. That's what it looks like to me. And to elaborate on what you're saying, if you don't post stuff on social media as a Christian influencer, I will say this. I have a TikTok. My TikToks are funny. Go follow me. I think it's at Josh_Wade0402, something like that. I don't know what it's called, but go look me up. They're funny. But ever so often,
he won't respond to your direct messages. By the way, he doesn't respond to mine.
There's a reason for that. But you sit there and you start looking at other people's posts. You start comparing your spiritual growth to someone else's highlight reel, right? Yeah. I may have a good video, and then Caleb could sit there and go, man, he has a really good video. He's getting a lot of views. I need to sit there and do better. And then your focus becomes trying to make a better video than somebody else, you know? You're
And
trying to
that's
get views. And before you know it, you're not even thinking about God. You're thinking about how you measure up to other people. You're trying to be an influencer. There's a lot of people on here, on TikTok, on social media, all this stuff that just do it for the money. Look, props to you if you're making money off of social media. That's not me. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to reach other people. That's the whole point of this podcast as well. That's the reason we started it. We're trying to reach other people and show them the good news, right? That's the whole purpose.
and here's the thing, Josh. A lot of this comes down to a pride thing, right? It does, because you're sitting there and you're comparing, and it's like, well, how, well, and it is well, my pride doesn't want me to look bad.
Yeah.
And so if I don't get 100 likes, and 100 likes is minimal, right? In a lot of contexts, if I don't do that, then I'm not. And let's just be real here. We have all done this, where we post something and it doesn't get the normal amount of likes that we normally get, and so we delete it.
I don't delete it.
And so I have 100% done that.
Oh, I haven't.
Right?
No, I keep it up.
So here's the thing, and here's what we're saying. It controls the way that you think. It
Yeah.
controls the way that you act. It shapes the way that you interact with other people. So when we use it without intention, we can fall into the trap of thinking that our value, that who we are as a person, is wrapped up on how many likes, views, comments, shares that I get from a social media context, instead of how God views me and how Scripture views me, and the truth about me is I'm created in the image of God, and He loves me, and He gave Himself for me.
That's why we call it the double-edged sword. That's why we said that. Social media has a lot of power. It has a lot of good. You can be a TikToker and an influencer or a youth minister that likes to make stupid videos like myself. My favorite one. You know how God gave Adam the role of naming all the animals, right?
Oh no.
And there's this scene from Tarzan where Tarzan, like, the gorillas find Tarzan, like the little baby gorilla goes. It's either an ape or gorilla. I don't know the difference. But they're sitting there's like, so, what you gonna call it? And it's like, I'm gonna call him Tarzan. And I made it in a way that God asks, so what you gonna call it? And then Adam says hippopotamus. And then he's like, okay, it's your baby. Like, that's my favorite one. So social media has a lot of power, has a lot of good. It can be funny. You can make it in the way you want. But if we don't learn how to use it wisely, it starts using us.
You should have done Adam naming the dodo bird.
I guess that's true. But when it comes to your spiritual identity, that's a dangerous place to be.
You're right.
It really is. If you're trying to make your spiritual identity on social media, it's a double-edged sword. You can use it the right way, and it can also go the wrong way.
And that's right, Josh. And I don't want to sit here and I don't want to paint all of social media in this negative light, because let's just be real here. There's some great things about social media, right? I can be connected with people from around the world, and I can have conversations with people from around the world, spiritual conversations. I can be connected through social media with our missionaries who are in various places in the world, right? And so there's good things about social media, and where we can talk through how people have gotten direct messages about posts and how they have been reached through that. And that turned into a real conversation and real connection and friendship and possibly conversion. That has happened. So we don't want to sit here and continually paint social media in this negative light.
Yeah. And to add on that, there's entire groups that come together just because someone was bold enough to, post a Bible prayer or not a Bible prayer. You know what I meant. Bible verse. Sorry, it's been a long day. I'm in the middle of senior Sunday practice right now. Not practice. Senior Sunday What's the word I'm looking for?
Decoration?
Yeah, yeah. Senior Sunday preparation.
Oh,
There we
preparation.
go. There's the word. Senior Sunday preparation. But there's in groups that have done that. Someone was bold enough to post a Bible verse or post a prayer. It may seem like small. But those digital seeds grow into something that's very real.
That's
You know,
right.
I know youth who started personally. I'm going to talk about this. I know someone that's here doesn't go to my church. I don't know where he goes to church. I keep whacking my mic, by the way, but I know someone here in church who's a senior at our schools here who started doing Bible studies on TikTok with his girlfriend just to hold each other accountable. And now their community around them are praying for each other, and people have started watching their videos, and it reaches people. Stuff like that means a lot.
And here's the thing, Josh. This world that we live in today is so connected. Now, it's so connected because people are putting sermons as podcasts. They're putting sermons on all this stuff. Here's one of the greatest things that COVID did is it forced churches to go online.
Live streams.
Right? It and there was live streams before COVID, but
But people started really using them.
It forced them to do it. And that's a great thing. Why? Because I can go anywhere around the world and I can type in blah 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 and watch a live stream of a church service in I don't even know where, like Costa Rica.
Uganda.
Prime example. I can watch the church service in Costa Rica through social media. And I can be here in the United States. And so this is the type of stuff that matters, right? This is the great thing. And here's the other thing. Jesus met people where they were, okay? That's right. Here's the thing. We talk about how this generation is anxious and how this generation is involved in social media. Well, Josh, the problem is that's not going away.
It's true.
That's not going away. And so the question becomes, how then do I evangelize to people? Well, Jesus went where people are. Paul went where people are. Peter went where people are. And here's the thing. People are online. So the question becomes, how can Christians, how can youth groups, how can churches better use social media to evangelize to the lost community that's a mile from our church building?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So online, that's the new marketplace. That's the new temple. That's the new Temple Mount. That's where people are. And here's the thing, instead of running from it, I think we need to embrace it and we need to represent Christ well in it.
You know, and that doesn't mean being perfect or posting only Christian content. You know, it means about being real about your faith journey. You know, you don't have to sit there and, you know, your TikToks and your Instagram reels, they don't have to be sitting there. They don't have to always, now granted, if you want your, I don't know what I was going to say, your TikTok and Instagrams, if they want to be focused around the Bible, put them focused around the Bible. That's the best part. But here's the thing. Be real about your faith journey. Don't fake it. There's a lot of people, and I hate saying this, there's a lot of people that fake their faith journey. They really do. They put on a show. What I mean by be real about your faith is share your doubts. Share your growth. Share your struggles. You know, asking good questions to people on social media. Getting some encouraging people without preaching at them. Did that come out right? No. Ask good questions while encouraging people without preaching at them. There we go. That's what I wanted to say, but I didn't. Sorry. I'm telling you, been a long day. That's how you build a spiritual community. It's how you do it. That's based on honesty, and it's based off of grace. Be genuine with your faith journey. Don't fake it.
And here's the thing, Josh. So you know me. You know how important spiritual formation and development is for me.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. In the world of formation, in the world of development, there's a component that is this online social, like we talk about social development all the time, and used to that didn't mean social media. That meant interaction with people. Okay, well now a lot of times, I mean, I just want you to, for those listening, go to a restaurant, go to somewhere, go to the store. I was in Kohl's today, and I was
I'm not going to question it.
quick sidebar. I was in Kohl's today, and I was watching somebody literally. Now, there was a mirror, I don't know, a couple of feet away from them.
You were watching people?
No, Josh. No, there was a mirror like a couple of feet from them. Okay, they got out their phone and used their phone as like a mirror, and AI. They took a picture of this shirt that they were doing, and AI put it on them so that way they could see what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Instead of just putting on the clothes and actually looking in the mirror.
So here's what I'm saying. Now then, people are using phones, and they don't know how to connect with people verbally. So, development now has this social media, social aspect that's not social through talking, but social through the World Wide Web and Instagram and TikTok and AI and all of this stuff, which, by the way, hint, hint, spoiler alert, that's an episode coming up that I'm super excited for.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't even know my own scripts.
It's coming up. So here's the thing. Find encouragement in social media. Be encouragement in social media. Find a community. Maybe it's just one or two people that you can hold accountable for social media. And understand, if you need to take a break, take a break. That's okay. And honestly, probably worth it if we're just being open and honest. Community starts one moment at a time, one interaction at a time. And I think if we can do it well, social media can be a community for people, even though they've never met.
To add on to that, let's transition a little bit, because it's one thing to talk about all this, but if we want to actually live it out, we got to make it intentional. We have to make intentional choices about what we allow in our minds and what we allow our hearts to go through, especially when it's on our feeds, when it's on our Instagram reels. You know, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but whatever you like is what comes up on your reels.
That's right.
That's what happens. Whatever you search comes up on your reels. And I'm convinced I'm going to be one of these people. It happens. All right? It does. You talk about something. If I talked about Pampers diapers right now, I'm going to get an ad on my Instagram that says Pampers diapers 15% off at Target. All right? I'm just being honest. Okay? Right. You can't tell me you haven't been there.
That's right.
I'm just saying. But it happens. Okay? So whatever you're scrolling through, whatever you like, whatever you can continually watch, that's what's going to come up on your feed. So you have to be intentional about what you're allowing to come across your feed. If you're saying that you want to be a Christian and you're saying that you want to have Christian content, but you're sitting there swapping against stuff that is not appropriate and it cusses all the time, you're watching all these people, are you really choosing the right path?
Josh, I want to point our minds to Proverbs 4 verse 23, okay? Which says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Okay? When we're talking about this, we've got to guard our heart. We got to guard what we see, what we hear. You know, there's this song. I don't know if you know this or if you've ever sung this, But you remember the song, "Be careful, little eyes, what you see. Be careful, little ears, what you hear. Be careful, little mouth, what you say. Be careful, little feet, where you go." Well, that song is
I
so
had the hippopotamus song.
well, I love the hippo song, but I mean that song is so important, right? Be little feet, be careful where you go. Little eyes, be careful what you see. Little ears, be careful what you hear, because that's the thing. You've got to guard your heart, and how do you do that? How do you guard your heart? You got to be careful where you go, what you see, what you hear. So go through your followers. Apply that to a social media context. Go through your followers, go through your subscriptions, go through your likes, and ask this question: does this content creator, and by the way, everybody's a content creator, even if you post on Facebook, right? You're a content creator because the things that you're posting on your feed, guess what that is? That's content. And so you need to ask this question: does this content, does what I'm seeing right now, does it bring me peace? Does it bring me joy? Does it bring me clarity? Does it bring me closer to God? And if it doesn't, if it does the opposite, if it doesn't bring you peace, if it doesn't bring you joy, if it makes you mad, if it makes you angry, then it might be time to mute. It might be time to unfollow, and it might be time to take a break from that page. That doesn't mean that the person's bad. That doesn't mean that the page is bad. It just means that that content isn't good for your spiritual health right now. And that's okay. Because
Mm-hmm.
let's just be real here. There's sometimes when we just need a break.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay.
Well, we also need to look for voices that speak life. And I don't mean people who are just saying things that sound positive. I know there are a lot of motivational speakers out there. And this is another rant on the side. All right? I'm going off of my own ideas here. But,
No.
you know, sometimes motivational speakers are not really motivational speakers. Does that make sense? Sometimes it may sound good, but is it really always good for you? Does that make sense? Or am I just being dumb here?
No. I think, like sometimes it's like, oh, that's good. Now what?
Exactly. Like, what's next?
Yeah.
You can say that all you want, but how are you going to help me?
Yep.
And what I'm saying by looking for voices that speak life, I mean people who remind you of who God is, who you are in Him, and what real faith actually looks like. It's fine to talk about it, but if you listen to somebody, are they actually using it? It's easy for a motivational speaker to get up there and tell you what to do, but are they actually applying it to their own lives? I'm sorry, I'm ranting. I'm getting a little heated up here, but there's so much noise out there. But if you dig just a little, you're going to find some incredible accounts that share scripture, positivity, encouragement, truth. They're not just going to sit there and look good. I hate to say it, but there's a lot of people out there that put on a fake faith, put on a fake show. They'll sit there and act like they're a motivational speaker, but in the real reality of all things, they're probably just sitting there trying to get views. And that's the thing. That is where our society is in life right now. Is people are trying to outdo one another and not being genuine.
And
sorry for my rant, guys. That was my rant.
And you know what, Josh? I think one of the wisest things that we could ever do as a Christian is know when it's our time. And I don't mean like that as like I'm gonna die. Right?
I don't know where you're going with that.
I don't mean that as like I'm gonna die. But I'm saying like this. There are times when we need to reevaluate.
Okay.
And we need to and it's wise to know when to do that. When it's the right time to do that. You know what I mean? So you need to know when it's time to reevaluate what's going on your social media. Right? Here's the thing. You got to do that all the time. That's what the point of a budget is. So every month, guess what I do? I get to sit down and I get to reevaluate. and I get to reevaluate what's important to me. I get to reevaluate, do I want
A red Jeep.
Well, I love my red Jeep, but I love my red Jeep.
Sorry, I had to make the joke. I had to make it.
I love my red Jeep. But it's like, okay, do I really want to keep here's the big one. Do I really want to keep my HelloFresh subscription? And the answer to that is no. And so that's the thing. Do I really want to keep what is going on in my social media? And here's the thing. A digital fast is not just trendy. It's necessary.
Did you say additional or a digital?
A digital.
Oh, okay. I heard additional. Additional fast is okay. Like, we're stopping
fast.
adding? Are we doing subtracting now?
A digital fast is not just necessary. Or it's not just trendy. It's necessary sometimes.
Yeah.
If your first instinct, like, what are you doing?
Sorry.
If your first instinct when you wake up is, okay, I gotta check my Instagram, I gotta check my TikTok, I gotta check whatever.
I gotta check my Snapchat, see my streaks.
Right, amen. Instead of, and boy, I'm gonna step on my own toes when I say this. I'm gonna because like I don't do this well.
Are you gonna step on mine as well?
Probably.
Okay.
If our first instinct is to pick up our phone instead of thanking God for allowing us to live another day, then perhaps we might want to take a step back.
Preach it.
Because each day is a gift.
No. It's true.
And we might want to, I don't know. I've just stepped all over my toes right now, so.
Caleb is in his emotional phase right now. So I'm going to get us out of this emotional pit. My favorite personal time, this is a little thing I want to share with everyone. My personal favorite time away from my phone is when I'm at camp. For real. I was blessed enough to be able to do 3 internships at a Christian camp. And when I'm away from my phone and I'm away from social media, that's the best time. I'm so busy with camp doing my job that I just don't get on my phone. Now, granted, my phone is on me, but when we're at Maywood Christian Camp, where there's no service except for when you stand in one particular area and you may get a bar and a half, sometimes 2. What's the point of your phone? Enjoy being out at camp, you know? There's stuff that I'm doing. Our week of Maywood, I'm over activities. I'm over schedule. It's a stressful job. I don't have time to sit there and be on my phone. That's the thing about these kids nowadays. My youth group, and I don't want to throw them under the bus. I don't know if any of them watch it, but it's okay if they do. Sorry, kids. Some of them asked me, they said, we'll go to Maywood if you give us the Wi-Fi password. Like, no, I'm not giving you the Wi-Fi password. That's the whole point of going to camp. Be unconnected, dude. You know, maybe try that sometimes. Maybe try just leaving your phone on the bed while you go and have fun. Instead of getting on your phone when you have extra time or when you're bored, use that time to just be still with God and then do what you want. You know, quit sitting there and wanting to always be your phone. That's the thing. I don't know where the book is. It may be in my truck. I've been reading this book called The Anxious Generation. That's the thing about these kids. Back in the 2010, that's when this culture shifted, right? iPhones started coming out, iPads, MacBooks, all this social media started changing. We went from iPod Touch. We went from the shuffle to the touch.
Yep.
But like, we went from a play-based life to a social life. Meaning, you're not outside playing in the dirt anymore. Getting in trouble, throwing rocks at a car when they're driving by. I was one of those kids. Now we got kids that, I hate to say it, but can't go in life without having their iPad right here on the face. And then you try to talk to them and they're like, leave me alone. That's where our generation is heading. Yeah. And if we don't, what's going to happen in 10 years? Caleb, answer this question. I'm going off a script here. All right, I'm going off. Okay. Answer this question. This is Josh's rant episode. I'm feeling it today, guys. I'm sorry, but answer this question. And you don't have to actually. This is a rhetorical question. So I'm not putting you on the spot.
No,
But
go ahead, put me on the spot.
put you on the spot? Okay, I'll put you on the spot.
Put me on the spot.
What happens in 10 years with our jobs? How does that make it for us?
Well, I think a lot of things. First of all, what we have to understand is that number one, people are people,
Mm.
and they are in need of a savior. So there's that. Number one, that will never change until the Lord comes back. Number two, there will be Christians, and that will never change until God comes back. So it is, how do we contextualize? How do we transmit the gospel to people appropriately so that way they can see Jesus?
Here's what I mean by this question as well.
Okay.
Here's what I mean. Ooh, did you hear that? I popped my fingers. I'm meaning, like, how's our jobs going to look in 10 years? The reason I say that, we're getting to AI, right? We talked about ChatGPT and all that. That's going to be an episode that comes up. What's going to happen 10 years from now when, if, right now our kids are coming and asking us questions because we're their minister, right? It's making it easy. I had a conversation last night in class. We talked about, what did we talk about? I don't know. We talked about something.
Okay.
I believe it was. This is gonna bother me. Hold on. I found it. Okay, I got it.
I'm gonna have a lot of editing.
No, you don't have to edit that. That's real. That's real right there.
Yeah,
Sorry, I forgot what I was talking about last night. Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 through 30. Come to me, all who are who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. No, who are weary.
Yeah, weary.
Yeah, who are weary and need. Yeah, that verse.
Yeah,
we
yeah,
talked about that one last night, and I sat there and I told him, I said, take the part of it that says, "I will give you rest," and I transferred it into, you do not always have to hold it together. You do not always have to hold it together. Here's the thing about online. Our kids are finding comfort in watching TikToks and social media. And it's making our jobs difficult because then they question us. ChatGPT. You can get on there right now and ask a question about anything from the Bible, and it will spit out an answer within, just like that. What's going to happen to our youth ministers? That all of us that have jobs, what's going to be the purpose of us now? They're taking the form of us.
Well, and here's the thing. ChatGPT is based on an algorithm. And so it's based on here's the thing about ChatGPT. It is based on what you have already and previously asked it. So it's going to answer.
It's learning you.
That's exactly what it's doing. So,
which is scary.
Which is horrifying, by the way. So every time that you ask it a question, it is basing its future responses on how you ask those questions.
Yep.
So what it's going to give you is not always gospel truth. Very rarely is it gospel truth.
It's really just giving you answers to make you feel comfortable.
That's exactly what it's.
That's exactly what it is. It's not the truth. And for anybody that's watching this that uses ChatGPT, I am not saying that ChatGPT is wrong. We're going to get to that episode later. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to dog on ChatGPT, but our kids, from the kids' perspective, when the kids sit there and ask a question, all it's doing is trying to make our kids comfortable. And that's the same thing about social media and TikTok. Is the people that they are watching is just trying to make them comfortable. It's not making them actually think. So as we start to land this plane, okay, start to get off of my ranting tangent, I want to invite you just to slow down for a second and just reflect. Reflect with both of us. I'm being dead serious, okay, when I say this. Take a breath. Maybe close your eyes, unless you're driving, obviously. We want to guide you in a short moment of reflection that can help you get recentered.
Here's the questions, and you might want to write this down, or just listen, whatever. What am I truly seeking when I reach for my phone? What is my goal in reaching for my phone? Am I looking for connection? Am I looking for comfort? Am I looking for an escape? Am I looking for approval? Or am I looking because I'm bored? Whatever it is, bring it to God. He sees you. He knows you. He knows your desire, even the ones that you cannot put into words. Are you lonely?
I am lonely.
Okay, well, wow.
Sorry.
Wow.
Oh.
Are you lonely? Sometimes we reach for social media because we're lonely. Take it to God.
Mm-hmm.
Take a few moments and think on those questions.
Yep. I agree. Well, guys, that is all we have for this episode. That got real really quick. But
Real
this
talk.
episode was these next couple of episodes are going to be a little bit challenging to talk about. But the whole point of this podcast is we want to be real. These are our opinions. These are not what we look up. This is our true thoughts, you know. This is what we want to talk about. So we're glad that you're here. If you've made it, I don't even know what episode this is. 6? Is this 6?
I think so. Maybe.
I think this is
I think
maybe 6. I definitely not 7. Definitely not 7. But thank you for being here with us. Thank you for watching. This was a very big topic. And if something we said sparked something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Right? Talk about it, share it, message us. We want to grow with you. But not only do we want to grow with you, we want to watch you grow as well.
That's right.
Especially, we're youth ministers. So especially if you're a teenager, we want to watch you grow. I know that sounds weird saying to an adult, I want to watch you grow. But like, still, you know what I mean? We want to watch you grow. We want to grow together. We want to grow closer together. So,
And if there's anything that we said that you want to comment on, that you want to us to elaborate on, or anything like that, message us. Let us know. We'd be looking forward to it. Until next time, keep it real and keep talking. Bye.
Bye.